I'll tell a tale of time when us hardy folk of Heaton were all working down the mine. The wealth we found below the ground, the darkness and the heat. There's black gold and there's history right here beneath your feet. The tram track that you walk along to work most every day was a herald of the age of steam, the Cox Lodge wagon way. The investment of the owners, the miners' sweat and toil, the engineers' bright innovation, and today we share the spoils. So ride on, we rattle along the rails, for the line ahead will lead us to a new and brighter day. Drive on, the horizon keeps on rising, and we're steaming into the future along the wagon way. We own the local collieries, we move the coal so fine, but we need a better way of pushing forward to the Tyne. A letter came from Blenkinsop, a Walker lad by birth, with an engineering marvel that would surely prove its worth. The horses led, the letter said, the wagons down the way, but they struggle up the incline and will only work by day. The horses I will build for you will pull a greater load. They breathe the steam and brightly gleam along the iron road. So drive on, we rattle along the rails, for the line ahead will lead us to a new and brighter day. Drive on, the horizon keeps on rising, and we're steaming into the future along the wagon way. So as the leaves were turning in the year 1813, John Blenkinsop's own Willington along the rails was seen. George Stephenson of railway fame was there to watch that day. It lit a spark to make his mark upon the wagon way. The next 5 years brought highs and lows, the engineers all knew that working all together pushed the innovations through. Then earliest October of the year 1818, we finally built his own machine of gravity and steam. So drive on, we rattle along the rails, for the line ahead will lead us to a new and brighter day. Drive on, the horizon keeps on rising, and we're steaming into the future along the wagon way. The canny, keen-eyed drivers carried coal both far and wide, but soon they had some passengers eager for a ride. As early as 1814, challenging the claim of Darlington to Stockton as the first passenger train. Reports of Margaret Dobson dying on the wagon way, on the back of her father's wagon, heading home to Shields that day. These tragedies come hand in hand with innovations too. We learn from our mistakes and they teach us what to do. So drive on, we rattle along the rails, for the line ahead will lead us to a new and brighter day. Drive on, the horizon keeps on rising, and we're steaming into the future along the wagon way. We've steamed along the wagon way, and now our tale is done. Traced our history through the rails, of steam and steel we've sung. The Heaton that we know today was built upon the past. Our knowledge, skills and labour helped the region grow so fast. So next time that you walk along the track we all adore, remember that the path was laid by those who came before. Picture those great engines that did glitter and did gleam, and pulled along the future borne on clouds of billowed steam. So drive on, we rattle along the rails, for the line ahead will lead us to a new and brighter day. Drive on, the horizon keeps on rising, and we're steaming into the future along the wagon way. Drive on, we rattle along the rails, for the line ahead will lead us to a new and brighter day. Drive on, the horizon keeps on rising, and we're steaming into the future along the wagon way. Thank you very much. Rolling on with every roll.